Welcome. Today I'll be discussing about immunization or vaccination. What is a vaccine? What are the benefits? What are some of the risks associated with it? What is the benefit of immunization and vaccination as a whole? Those are some things that I would be discussing in this video. So a vaccine is something that protects you against a deadly illness. So vaccines can be injections, they can be nasal sprays. They are recommended for specific age groups during specific times, and they usually protect an individual from a virus or a bacteria and the deadly disease that it can cause. So what is a vaccine is, it's basically it contains the virus or the bacteria that it is supposed to protect against, but the virus or a bacteria in the vaccine is much less virulent than what is in the atmosphere, meaning it's much less harmful. So either it's killed or it is the same virus or bacteria in the environment is produced in a lab, so it's much less harmful, or the vaccine can just contain a part of the virus or bacteria against which it is supposed to protect the human being from. So what is the rationale behind using a vaccine is, as I said, either the killed virus or bacteria are a part of it, or a similar virus or bacteria, a lab-created virus or bacteria, which is much less harmful than its environmental version, is injected into a human being, basically to activate the body's immune system, so the body's immune system can fight and get rid of the virus and the bacteria. The body's immune system has a very good advantage. It has a very good memory, meaning like once this fight happens between the virus and the vaccine, the body's immune system remembers it, and the next time it is exposed to the same virus or the bacteria, it is able to build an immune response or fight off against the virus and bacteria more effectively and in a very quick manner, because that is something that it has been exposed to previously. So to explain this in a different scenario, imagine you're living in a city and you have like a police organization or a police team responsible for the city's safety, and you have like this bad gang of people who are causing trouble in the village. Imagine the police encounters one member of the whole gang of bad people. The police fights with him, learns about the way he thinks, learns about the way he fights, and maybe gets rid of that person. Imagine a few days later, the whole gang is now coming to attack the city. The police, because of their interaction with one member in the gang, now knows how the gang fights, or what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths, and how they think, and are now able to fight and get rid of the gang in a much effective manner. And maybe they're able to do it quickly because of their experience with fighting with one of the gang member. There is something similar logic that happens behind vaccine. So you basically expose your body's immune system or your body's police force against the same deadly virus or bacteria, but in a much less harmful or much less virulent state, like being exposed to just one member in the gang. So when the real virus or bacteria comes, like when the whole gang comes, the body's police system is prepared and able to tackle the attack in a much better way. It's kind of similar to that. That's the rationale behind using vaccines. So we saw like what are vaccines and how they work. So now I would be talking about some of the common concerns or questions that people have against vaccination. One is like, people are always like, oh, I never get sick, but if I get a vaccine, I do get sick. So I usually tell my patients, well, that's what a vaccine is supposed to do. So when you're getting exposed to the virus or bacteria, your body's police system or your body's immune system needs to react against it. And when it's fighting against it, you're bound to have some symptoms. You're going to feel tired, you might have some joint pains, you might have some fever, like you're having the sickness itself. But we are hoping that by doing this, the next time you get exposed to the real bug, your body will be eliminating it much quicker, so you don't have the bad disease. So the vaccines are only recommended for those diseases for whom we believe that the real disease is much worse than the vaccine reaction itself. Like for example, in adults, it's recommended that they get the pneumococcal vaccine, which is which protects you against pneumonia. We believe that the pneumonia for anyone over age 65 is much fatal and much deadlier than the vaccine reaction itself. That is why the vaccine is recommended in that age group of people. Similarly, with the shingles vaccine or the herpes zoster vaccine, of course, if you get the vaccine, you're going to feel sick. But if you get the shingles or the zoster, it can affect your nerves and you can have pain for years even after having the disease, which is much worse than being sick with the vaccine reaction for a day or two. So that's why if your vaccine makes you sick, it's basically doing its job, because it is supposed to make you sick, so your immune system remembers and attacks the real virus or bacteria much more efficiently and protect you from the much more deadlier diseases. The second thing is, people say that, I'm allergic to particular material in the vaccine. One big thing is like many vaccines use egg protein in manufacturing, but recently the production of vaccines have changed so much that being allergic to egg doesn't prevent you from getting any vaccine except maybe the yellow fever vaccine, which contains a significant portion of egg. The flu and the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine also had egg previously, but the percentage now is much lesser, so it is safer in people with egg allergy as well. There are other things that people might be allergic to, like the latex in the vaccine, the gluten in some of the vaccines. But hey, if you're allergic, just talk to your doctor so they can decide if there is a preservative-free vaccine that you can get, or a gelatin-free vaccine, or a latex-free vaccine that you can get. Because if there is an option that you can get the vaccine, it is recommended that you do get it. The third thing, some people say, oh, I never get sick, so why should I get the vaccine? So I told you about some benefits of vaccine. It does protect you from the deadlier version of the disease. But the other main benefit is like a community protection as well. So most of the vaccines which are recommended in the community are against diseases that spread quickly. Like for example, like flu. Flu spreads really quickly from one person to another. So flu vaccine is recommended in the fall season or the winter season when there is a high prevalence for flu. You might be a young person, a healthy man or a healthy woman, and even if you get the flu, you might not get really sick. But you are living in a community, and the community contains like very small children, very old people, or people whose immune system is shot because maybe they're receiving some cancer-related therapy or they're having some deadly infection which has killed their immune system. For this people, a simple flu can be life-threatening. So by getting the vaccine, you're actually not only protecting yourself, but when the community's health improves as a whole, the transmission of the virus goes down. So you're saving these vulnerable members of your community. So it's called like a herd immunity. When the whole community is resistant against a particular virus, the transmission rate naturally goes down. So we protect this vulnerable population, the very young, the very old, or people who have other diseases that has killed their immune system. So the benefit of the vaccine is not just for you, it is for the community as well. So that's another reason why your physicians or your providers would be recommending that you always get the vaccine. So in United States, I think there are close to like 14 pathogens against which immunizations are recommended. I think in India, there's about 10 against which is recommended, but there are like 7 more which are more like optional vaccines that you can get. So definitely, even if you are an adult person or you're a kid, definitely try to get the appropriate vaccinations. So imagine you didn't get some vaccinations as a kid, but now as an adult you would like to get it. Definitely talk to your doctor, because we have something called catch-up immunization, meaning like we can check some blood work, and if you are not resistant to few viruses or bacteria, we can give those vaccines even though it's not traditionally recommended in your age group. The other question people ask me is like, why some vaccines are recommended during some time of the year, or some vaccines are recommended for specific sex, or some vaccines are recommended for specific age group. Again, this is after years of scientific data was done to see which population is more vulnerable. Like the pneumonia vaccine is recommended in people over 65 because that age group pneumonia can be really deadly. The vaccine against hepatitis B is recommended in people working with blood or people working in healthcare, because the reason that they might be exposed to hepatitis B virus is more. Or like a specific, like the flu vaccine is recommended for everyone during a specific season when transmission for flu is high. So there is always a reason with lot of scientific data against when or why a particular vaccine is recommended during a particular time or for a particular age group. So definitely discuss with your doctor and get the appropriate vaccination. Before I end this video, there's another like a sensitive topic very close to my heart that I would like to touch upon, is the big rumors again, some of the childhood vaccines causing autism, and many parents choosing not to vaccinate their kids. So there was this study which was published in 1998, which kind of included 12 children, and they said like these kids maybe got autism after they were exposed to or after they received the measles, mumps and the rubella vaccine, and the study got enough attention that parents are now choosing not to vaccinate their kids. So just to clarify that after the study was published, almost there were 13 authors in the study, 10 of which said that the study represented false data and withdrew their names from the study, and 10 years after the study was published, the original journal that published it took away the study, saying that it was fraudulent data. And not only that, multiple research done after that showed that there was no relation between the vaccine and occurrence of autism or any other illness for that sake. Of course, if you get a vaccine, you can have a local reaction because you have a virus or a bacteria in your arm, you're going to have some pain, or you can even have fever, or you can have like a generalized body reaction to it, but definitely not autism. And this is something that's proved. So definitely don't hold your children from getting the benefit of vaccines. Definitely get them the benefit and save them from the deadly illnesses. It has been recorded that, say, over the past 26 years, when vaccinations have become more prevalent, there are maybe 8 deaths that have been reported, that 2 only possibly due to a vaccine related reaction. So among the million people or the million lives that were saved, compared to that, vaccination seems to be a very effective strategy against many of the deadly illnesses that we are fighting today. So definitely discuss with your doctor and make sure your family is protected and you are protected, and in turn you're protecting the community as well. Thank you.